What if fear disappeared from your life? What if one day you woke up and discovered that fear had completely disappeared from inside you? No fear of failure, no fear of people's opinions, no fear of the future, not even fear of making decisions. What would your life look like? Would you become freer, braver? Or would the world itself turn into a dangerous place? Fear, that feeling that has followed humanity since the beginning of existence. Is it an enemy that must be destroyed? Or something that has silently saved human beings thousands of times? In this video, we won't just talk about fear. We'll imagine a world where fear no longer exists. And then ask, would that be a blessing or a disaster beyond control? Part 1. Fear, the invisible guardian. Fear is not just an unpleasant emotion. It is an ancient alarm system designed to keep human beings alive. When early humans heard strange sounds in the darkness, fear pushed them to run. When they saw predators, fear made them more alert. In other words, fear was never weakness, it was survival. Even today, fear prevents people from jumping off dangerous places, walking blindly into unknown situations, or trusting everyone too easily. But the real problem is not fear itself. It's when fear becomes a prison. Because modern humans no longer fear only death. Now they fear failure, rejection, criticism, loss, loneliness, and even being themselves. And that is when fear begins to control life. Part 2. How fear steals your life. Most people are not destroyed by failure. They are destroyed by the fear of failure. How many dreams died without ever being attempted? How many people stayed silent because they feared judgment? How many opportunities disappeared because fear whispered, "What if it doesn't work?" Fear creates invisible prisons. A person wants to speak, but remains silent. Wants to create, but keeps waiting. Wants to change their life, but delays everything until the right moment. But the perfect moment never arrives. And over time, fear transforms from a temporary emotion into an identity. People begin organizing their entire lives around avoiding pain, choosing safety over meaning, comfort over growth, predictability over freedom, and eventually, they stop living fully, not because they cannot move forward, but because fear convinced them not to try. Part 3. A world without fear. Now imagine something impossible. Imagine fear suddenly vanished from the human mind, completely. No anxiety, no hesitation, no self-doubt. At first, it would feel incredible. People would finally speak freely, take risks, start businesses, confess their feelings, chase impossible dreams. No more overthinking, no more insecurity, no more fear of failure. Humanity would feel unstoppable. But then, everything would begin collapsing. Because fear does more than create hesitation. Fear creates limits. Without fear, some people would drive without caution, take deadly risks, ignore consequences completely. And soon, the line between bravery and recklessness would disappear. Because courage without fear can become destruction. A human being without any fear might stop recognizing danger itself. And that is the terrifying paradox. The emotion people hate the most may also be the emotion preventing chaos. Part 4. The 2 types of fear. Not all fear is the same. Some fear protects you, and some fear imprisons you. Healthy fear says, be careful. It helps people prepare, think clearly, recognize danger. But destructive fear says, don't even try. It whispers, you are not good enough. You will fail. People will laugh at you. You should stay where it's safe. One fear keeps you alive. The other prevents you from living. And most people confuse the two. They treat every fear as truth, even when the danger exists only inside their imagination. Part 5. Why modern humans fear everything. The modern world created a new kind of fear, psychological fear. In the past, humans feared physical survival. Today, many people fear social survival. Fear of being ignored, fear of being ordinary, fear of falling behind, fear of not becoming successful enough, and social media intensified everything. People compare their private struggles to everyone else's public victories. Every scroll becomes a reminder. Someone is richer, more attractive, more successful, more admired. And slowly, people begin living for approval instead of meaning. They stop asking, "What do I truly want?" and start asking, "What will people think?" That question alone has destroyed countless lives. Part 6. How to overcome fear. The goal is not to destroy fear. The goal is to understand it. Because fear itself is not evil. Sometimes fear is wisdom. But when fear becomes the ruler of your life, it becomes a cage. So whenever fear appears, ask yourself, is this fear protecting me or imprisoning me? If it protects you, listen carefully. But if it only keeps you small, then it must be confronted. And this is the truth most people never realize. Courage does not mean feeling no fear. Real courage means moving forward despite fear, speaking despite trembling, trying despite uncertainty, living despite the possibility of failure. That is courage, not fearlessness. Maybe fear was never humanity's greatest enemy. Maybe uncontrolled fear was. Because fear can either protect your life or prevent you from living it. And perhaps the most dangerous thing is not fear itself, but allowing fear to decide who you become. So tonight, ask yourself honestly, how many choices in your life were truly yours, and how many were made by fear? Because one day, life will end regardless, and the greatest tragedy may not be failure, but reaching the end of life and realizing fear lived it for you.